We need to start by addressing the elephant in the room. Jonas Vingegaard, the guy who accelerates and leaves most people gasping for air. He has officially admitted something that on surface sounds perfectly reasonable, but in cycling world terms, it's basically a declaration of existential surrender. In a recent interview with an Andorran outlet, Jonas casually acknowledged that Tadej Pogačar is, well, the best. There it is. The admission that every fan, analyst and armchair tactician had been whispering in hushed tones for months now, but never dared to actually say it out loud. Pogačar is the GOAT, the masker, the one who apparently climbs so effortlessly that even the idea of racing against him is a kind of performance art for the rest of the peloton. And there's Jonas, looking at the interviewer like, yeah, I tried, I really did, but let's be honest, he's faster, stronger, more terrifying, and I don't even know why I get out of bed in the morning. Now, before we spiral into dramatic over-analysis, let's set the scene. Jonas Vingegaard has been the darling of Team Visma, the one that they built their season around, the climber who was supposed to be the only man capable of challenging Pogačar in mountains, time trials, and likely even in polite dinner conversation. He has been trained, monitored, drilled, and frankly, micromanaged like a Formula One car with legs. Every watt, every kilogram, every slight twitch of his knee has been calculated to make him the ultimate Tour contender. And yet, here he is, publicly stating that someone else is better. Not in some grudging kind of, oh well maybe on a good day way, but with the calm, almost philosophical acceptance of defeat. And let's be honest, nothing screams I might be checking out mentally, like publicly admitting your main rival is simply untouchable. Now, the first episode of this drama, and yes, for the sake of structure, let's pretend we're giving you specific episode suspense, even though it's all in one continuous journey, it starts with the public confession, and let's appreciate it for what it is, a perfectly phrased physiological shell. Jonas isn't whining, he isn't crying about bad luck, he isn't claiming equipment failures or bad luck, he's simply saying, this guy is better, deal with it. In one fell swoop, he's shifted from hunter to observer. He hasn't retired, he hasn't thrown in the towel entirely, but in the subtle world of cycling politics and mental games, this admission is seismic. Fans of the sport immediately went through the 5 stages of grief in real-time denial. No, he's joking, he's just being modest. How can he say that? After everything we've done for him. Maybe he'll still try in the Alps? It's over. Oh no, we've peaked as a fandom. Yeah, Pogačar really is that good. And here's where the sarcastic angle comes in. You can almost hear the sighs of every cycling commentator across Europe, the subtle finger tapping on keyboards, and the collective, well, this changes everything, murmurs in TV studios. Because let's face it, Vingegaard's admission isn't just about Pogačar, it's about Jonas himself. He's essentially saying that he might not care as much as we thought. That's the scandal. It's not that he lost, it's that he might be strategically withdrawing interest in the race to protect himself and his mental psyche, his body and possibly even his legacy, because if he starts getting slower and keeps competing, he'll make himself look worse. Or there's also a chance that he's just tired of everyone screaming at him to go faster, climb harder, and always be the villain in Pogačar's hero. If we're keeping this thing going, let's take a closer look at the personal side of things. Family, coaches, and the systems that have been both his cradle and his cage. Jonas's family has always been portrayed as supportive, the quiet backbone of a public champion, but image is the subtle tension in a household. Every training camp, every long climb, and every brutal interval is not just a physical test, but a physiological pressure cooker and a psychological one too. Coaches push, metrics measure, analysts dissect, you can imagine the occasional exacerbated glance from Jonas. Yes, I'm doing this perfectly according to plan, but what if the plan is literally designed to break me? There's humour here if you squint. The absurdity of expecting a human to constantly compete at the edge, knowing full well someone else is better, and yet still demanding absolutely maximal output. There's nothing funny about that to the rider, of course, but for us, the mere concept of perpetual obligation to outdo someone whose talent borders on mythical is comedic in its cruelty. Then there's the system itself. Team Visma is an incredibly well-organised operation, no doubt, but every system has its cracks. It's all data, precision, monitoring, forecasting, and yet somehow the human element, the emotions, mental fatigue, desire to live a normal life, family feelings, it still sneaks through. And Jonas, he's a human. He has preferences, moods, frustrations, and possibly a secret Netflix queue that he'd rather binge instead of doing another VO2 max test. So the personal perspective here is critical. When a rider admits the obvious that someone else is better, it isn't necessarily a sign of surrender. It's a revelation of strategy, a hint of fatigue, and possibly a nudge to the world that maybe, just maybe, is the relentless push of a negotiable time trial. We can also consider the coaching's perspective. The people who live and breathe training plans, taper schedules, and recovery protocols. They're investing years building Jonas into a climbing capable of taking on the very best. Seeing him publicly acknowledge Pogacar's supremacy might feel like a professional flight. Like spending years training a lion only to have it nap in the sun instead of actually hunting. Or maybe they get it. Perhaps it's smart to let him breathe. Sometimes the best athletes aren't the ones who fight tooth and nail every race. They're the ones who pick their battles strategically, conserving mental energy for the moments that truly matter. But if we are being honest, this is where frustration bubbles, because the world expects relentless dominance, not the subtle human reality of pacing oneself across a career. And the final lens of our little dramatic saga is the future. What does it mean that Jonas seems to have, at least publicly, eased up on the existential time and the dethroning of Pogacar? Fans may panic, commentators may speculate, and rival teams are surely licking their chops. But the truth is far more layered. There's a long-term strategy here. Perhaps he's shifting focus, prioritizing personal well-being, and embracing a career where winning isn't just about being the absolute best in every metric, but he's looking for sustainability, family, health, and longevity. Let's be real, he neglected the family side for many years until eventually his wife literally broke down over it and said she disagrees with what Team Visma are doing to him. Yes, it's so obvious. He needs a smart career management revamp. Let's also throw in the family angle again, guys, because why not? It's so important. You can bet that there's been a quiet conversation at dinner table about the stress of competing at this level, about the insane expectations, and about the wisdom or sheer necessity of letting go of the idea that one must dominate every mountain, sprint, or interval. Jonas is still young, he's still developing, and yes, still capable of monster performances, but overall, he's acknowledging that Pogacar is better than him. I don't get it. I still don't understand why he did that. Then there's the media narrative and a whole bunch more load of nonsense, which just gives everyone a whole headache. But overall, I think that Jonas Vingegaard has totally thrown in the towel mentally, not physically, because he's probably just fulfilling his contractual obligations. And let's be real, it's a mega salary, so he is still helping his family by staying with Visma for the future. Thank you for watching today's video. Subscribe if you're new to stay up to date with all of the latest cycling news. Leave a like on the video for good luck, and do not forget to comment down below your opinions or correct any mistakes you think happen.